What's happening, people? What's going on? What is going? Yeah, it's a Tuesday. I wasn't here last night. I was not feeling good at all last night. So I didn't have the opportunity to come hang out with you. But hey, here we are. First off, let me say this here. For all of my Alabama fans, go look, hold on. All of my Alabama fans, let me just say this. Roll Tide. I know what I got on, but that's not what this is for. Roll Tide all day, every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Roll Tide. This hat has nothing to do with that part. So I don't want to hear from you. Don't send me nothing going. I'm a turncoat and the whole. I understand. I get it. I know. Trust me. My niece just graduated from LSU with a master's degree. And while she was at school, I asked her to send me a hat or a sweatshirt from the school. And I just got my hat. Because I wanted to represent, she got a master's degree. Uncle can represent her without saying anything about the football team. I don't care about the football, the LSU football. She just happened to go to that school. If she was lucky enough to had went to Alabama, then Uncle would have been overly joyed and happy. But she went to LSU. And she got her master's degree. So she sent me the hat. Uncle will wear the hat. But at no point in time do I want anyone to think that this hat represents the Tigers football. It does not. They could go and find a tall building and take a long walk. Yo, if you're a Bama fan, you know what I just said. It had nothing to do with that. So let's just stop it. So I had to make sure I put that disclaimer out just in case I turn around and I get a DM or message or post from a Bama fan as like I sold out. Let's just make that clear before we go forward on tonight. And I will be more than likely making the same disclaimer somewhere during this video because I know how people work. They don't go through a whole video. They don't do people don't do research anymore today. No, you don't. I'm about to show you that tonight. I'm gonna show you tonight. It's what I've always said. People rely on lies on the internet to get them through. That's why we're so screwed up. That's why we're so, oh, which one is my cold water? Is that cold? Oh, right here. That's why we're so screwed up. Because people will believe anything they see, or you say on the internet. Anything. I'm shocked somebody ain't said, which probably is going to happen next week. I'm shocked somebody said that they ain't caught Bigfoot and he's in their basement. And people will believe it. They will probably go to the house and stand around the house because somebody said that they caught Bigfoot. I'm shocked somebody ain't told us that they hooked the Loch Ness Monster on a night crawler with 5-pound test line, and they had him up to the boat, and he broke the line. I'm shocked because people would believe that. Yeah, they would. They would believe it like you wouldn't. Oh, yes, they would. Don't sit there and act like they wouldn't. Y'all know these people on the internet. What was it one about New York and the pizza and Hillary Clinton? Man went there and shot the plate. They will believe. People will. This is how gullible and ignorant people have gotten. Read your Bible. It teaches us this in the Bible. That during the last days, this is what people are going to be doing. And they're doing exactly what has been done in the last days. If you go to 1 Samuel 8, read what it says in 1 Samuel 8 and tell me if what is happening right now is not happening in that Bible when you read it. 1 Samuel 8, go and read it. When the people ask for a king, the Bible has predicted everything that is happening today, how ignorant people will be in the last days, how you can be fooled, just literally fooled in the last days. People, listen, you have to read your book. You have to. I had a nice back and forth with somebody last night. And what we were doing is we wasn't spelling out putting out the verses so people can read them. You have to look at we wasn't putting out scripture. What we would put out is just we were going back and it was pretty cool. I was liking that. Somebody finally caught on to what I do on the internet, and they actually go look on my GitHub. So what we did is we just gave you the scripture name and the scripture number, and that's it. We didn't tell you about the scripture, or we didn't go into the scripture, but he and I together knew what we was talking about, back and forth. We did that all night. And somebody go, well, Rev, you put this out here, and I got to go search for it. Exactly why I do it. So you can go search. Don't leave it up to me or anybody else to tell you things. This is why I keep telling y'all, I don't put nothing out here that you cannot go look up for yourself and see if I'm telling you the truth. I do it that way for a reason, because I want you to fact check me. That's why I do what I do, because I want you to. I want you to come back and say, Rev, that's not right. And I go, what do you mean that's not right? Well, let's take a look and see what we're talking about. And we can have that conversation. So that's what we did last night. That's why if you go on there and you go onto that thread and notice how we did things, you have to go look up the scripture. I didn't give it to you. You have to take time and open up the book and read the scripture. You know, the same book that everybody swears up and down by, but nobody lives by it. Nobody lives by the scripture. Now, I'm not going to, hold on now. Hold on. Let me say this. I come as close as I possibly can. I come as close as I possibly can. Am I a sinner? I will always be a sinner. It's in the book. But as close as I can possibly come to that book, what that book says when I read my book, I give it every shot that I can. I try my best to stay as close to it as I can. I try to be the Solomon of the day. Solomon was a man after God's own heart. That's who Solomon was. If I can get a few people to say, I want to be like Solomon, boy, we could change this world. We could change everything about this thing. Solomon says, I don't want riches. I don't want gold. I don't want all these animals. He said, I don't want all these wives. Solomon said, what I want, God, is I want wisdom to be able to take care of my people. Can you imagine if some of these politicians, some of these people that we put in the office bow down to God and says, I want wisdom is what I want? Because see, if I got wisdom, I can make myself rich. If I get wisdom, I can have the things of earthly, but without the wisdom, I can't guide my people. Can you imagine if some of these better yet, can you imagine if some of y'all would vote for people who go to God and ask God for their wisdom? I'm not going to blame them. That's what I said. I don't blame politicians no more. I don't. I blame the people who go into these voting booths and check their names. It's your fault that we got what we got right now. Y'all, if y'all would have read 1 Samuel and 8, if you read 1 Samuel and 8, where the people asked for the king, and if you did in the Bible what God tells us to do, we would not be in this here problem. We would not be would not be going on. But because a lot of people who swear by the Bible don't read the Bible, that's what we got. Go read it for yourself. Only thing I'm giving you is where to go. Go read 1 Samuel, go to the 8th chapter. Read what it says about when the people ask for a king. Read it. Tell me if that is not us today. Tell me if that is not us today. But if we had some politicians or if we had voters who believed and understood the Bible, who really lived by the Bible, who tried the best they could to live by the Bible, we would vote in people who seek the wisdom of God first, not their own wisdom. I watched a video today of Walter Hudson. This is a state representative who was voted into office. I watched this sad, silly ass video that this dude, Walter Hudson, of him walking into a daycare center and talking to a Somali woman, and he did it over AI. That's the type of people y'all vote into office. That's why we're in the problem. That's why we're in the shape that we're in right now. Because those are the type of people you vote into office. You put that silly mongrel into office. That's what you did. That's what you did. Only thing he had to do was trick and convince you to give him to come in and vote for him. That's all he had to do. And then he goes around acting that silly with zero wisdom. No wisdom. But if somebody come to you who's asking God for the wisdom to be able to lead and guide his people, you would shoo him away. You would cast him out. You would talk about him so bad that he would go somewhere and hide his face. But Walter Hudson, you will put into office and for him to make stupid videos like that. Hey, what's happening, John? John said, good evening. Rev, lots to talk about, sir. They all need prison and deportation. Hey, not all of them do. Every single one of them. Look, John. Look. See, here's the thing that gets me. Again, I'll go back and say it. There's a blueprint. If y'all think, if this little dude, Nick, who came in here to get these right-wingers all lathered up over a silly-ass video, let me remind y'all, you see, this, and here's another thing I'm going to say. How easy we forget. It's like squirrel. I'll give this probably a good month. By the end of January, y'all done gone on to something new. Anything Nick has done, it ain't gonna be. I'm gonna show you an example. Y'all remember when that other guy came in here, that propaganda video, Voyager video guy? He came in here and swore it up and down that there was all this fraud going on with voter balloting, right? Voter harvesting. Y'all remember him. Don't act like you don't. Don't act like you don't. You remember exactly who I'm talking about. And all of a sudden, the Republicans and the right-wingers here in Minnesota, y'all just got all wet. Oh, look at this video. Oh, this is the best. I've never seen a video like this ever before in my life. The best video. And y'all got all just Where is he at now? No. Where is he? Exactly. You went on to something else. Exactly what's about to happen right now. Yeah, it's going to happen. Nah, it's going to happen. He said better than Lords of the Rings. But I'm just saying, people, it's just the small little things. The minute Moses went up that mountain, the minute he went up the mountain, the people start acting up. People start, oh, look at this video. Oh, look at this here video. People just acting up. Poor leadership is what we have, people. Those are the facts. Those are the facts on the Democratic side and on the Republican side. The problem we have in America is you got the Republicans and people who call themselves Republicans. They're never wrong. They're never wrong about anything. You got the Democratic side who think they're the power of the all power. And you can't bring them together. You can't. If I put something out about a Democrat, I guarantee you 4 or 5 different Democrats will come on my page. Oh, Rev, you can't say that. That's not right. That's not right. Prove me wrong then. I put something out there about Republicans. Oh, you can't say that, Rev, about Republicans. That's not right. That's not right. Prove me wrong then. That's the whole thing that I always say. Anything that I put out, please don't call me names. Don't do that. Prove me wrong. You can't. You can't. You know why? Because I always make sure that my T's are crossed and my I's are dotted. Watch this. True story. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show you her post and the whole nine. Hold on, people. Because I got to show you. I got to show you how this thing went down. Hold on. So watch this. Let me show you something. So this guy Clint put out this here post, right? About all those 50 agents. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but there's like 50 agents, right? That's escorting this one Mexican guy out of the Ridgedale Library, correct? So I said, I'm going to walk you through this. So I said they are arresting Mexicans because they can't arrest Somali Americans. Which is true. Correct? I mean, if I said something wrong, please come tell me. He's Mexican, whatever, European, whichever way you want to see him. But the bottom line, he's not, Crystal, he's not a Somalian, correct? Apparently, they're also going after Ukrainians. They are? They're going at, wait a minute, what? Oh my God, I didn't know that. I learned something. See, thank you guys. No, seriously. Because I learned stuff. I keep telling y'all, I learn from you guys. I honestly do. He's not a citizen. Okay. No problem. Crystal, I got you. Thank you for saying that. I did not know they was going after anybody from Ukraine. Did not know that. I thought. So here's the deal, people. So let me, right? Libertarian Party said, I didn't know that either. I know. I didn't know they was going after. I didn't know that, man. Then Minnesota's about to be shook. They already got them shook with the Mexicans, right? Yes, they announced it today. Thank you very much. Crystal said they announced that today. They are going after. Boy, Minnesota is about to be shook. If y'all don't really understand, if you're not here, and this is the thing that gets me about people who are not here in Minnesota. You don't know what you don't have a clue what's going on here right now. So anyway, they was arresting this guy, and there was 50 agents that went to get this one guy out of the Ridgedale Library, correct? It was the Ridgedale Library. Let me make sure I'm right. Okay, the Ridgedale Library. Now, what I want people who don't live here in Minnesota to understand is the Ridgedale Library is where rich people live. That's Plymouth. That's Plymouth area over there. You got to have a little money. You got to have a little money to live over there. So for this Mexican to be over there in that library, I gotta wonder what the hell was he doing over there. I'm just saying, because you got to have a little money to be living over in the Ridgedale area. That's look it up for yourself. Don't take what I say. So dig this here. So the lady says to me, she says, and that's what I said. I said they are arresting Mexicans because they can't arrest Somali Americans. They can't. Correct? I mean, did I say something that was wrong? You can't arrest Somali, just like you can't arrest European Americans. You can't arrest Japanese Americans. You can't detain and put Hmong Americans in the facility in Brooklyn Park. Can't do it. You can, but you have to let them go. Those are facts, people. So this lady says, she says to me, she said, why can't they arrest Somalis? I never said that read my, let me do it. See, here's what I say. We don't have the capacity anymore to read something, comprehend it, get the information, and then do something constructive with that information. We don't lack that anymore. We don't have that anymore. We don't. See, one of the things where people have to understand is my days are helping people. So one of the things, like when I marry a couple, I expect them to go through my marriage and counseling class. So we got 2 weeks that you got to be with me. All right, a couple of days in those, not 2 whole weeks completely. Let me make that different. Let me say that different. So in a week we would meet 3 or 4 times. But it's a counseling class that I give anyone that I stand up and marry. One of the things that I've had to do over the years is really, honestly, listen. I have to be able to sit out, just like when a man and a woman is having problems and they come to me for counseling. I have to go in with an ear, but a biased ear. I can't say he's right. And I can't say she's right. I can't say she's wrong and he's wrong. I can't do those things. I have to be able to take the information that is given me, lean back in my chair, and ask God for the wisdom that I'm about to give them is the right wisdom. There was 2 women that both had babies. And this one lady, her baby died. So what she did is the lady that had the living baby, while she was asleep, she took the living baby with her and put the baby that had died on the bed with the other mother. When the mother woke up and tried to feed her baby, she realized her baby was dead. But then when she looked across the room, she saw this lady with a baby, and that baby looked exactly like her baby. So they went to the king, and they said, "Oh, king, that lady stole my baby." And the lady said, "No, that's not right, because your baby is dead." So the king said, "Bring me the baby." And then the king got one of his swordsmen, told him to come over. The king told the swordsman to cut the baby down the middle and give 1/2 to this lady and 1/2 to this lady. And right before the swordsman was about to draw down on this baby, this lady yells and screams, "No, king. Give the baby back to her." The king knew right then and there who the real owner of this baby was. Because a mother with a heart of gold who cared about her baby would rather see her baby live than die. And the king looked over at her and told her to come get her baby. You've got to be able to make those type of decisions when you're dealing with people. We don't have leadership that can do those type of things. And because we don't have leadership that can do that, the minute Moses went up on the mountain, everybody started acting a fool, correct? The problem with our leadership today is they want to act a fool right along with us. They don't want to lead. They want to act a fool. So this lady on my page says, and it took 50 ICE agents. Why can't they arrest Somalis? She was answering me. Again, let me make sure y'all understand what I'm saying here. I said Somali Americans. I never said just Somalis. Correct? So I explained that to her and let her know what was going on. And then I had this lady right here. Her name is C. Farbanks. She apparently did not read what I wrote again. And she says she wants video proof that they're releasing them. She said, come on, man, get real. Put your money where your mouth is. That's what she said. Hold on. Show you. That one. She said, I need video evidence that they are releasing these Somalis that they are taking down to Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center. Because she had video evidence that the 5 Somalis that they took, she got to see it. And this is the point that I was making. They will give you video evidence that they're taking these people. But my question to Miss C. Fairbanks is plain and simple. Can you arrest a Somali American? So a lot of times, these stuff like this is simple. This is a very simple situation. Had she sat back and used the knowledge that she has to think about what she was about to hit send on, she probably wouldn't have hit send. But because she's so amped up, like a lot of people are right now, she didn't think about it. She didn't put 2 cents into it. She need video evidence that they released a Somali American from being detained out of Brooklyn Park's FBI holding center. I'm not going to believe what Rev said. I'm not going to believe somebody who's been down to Cedar and talked to the people. I'm not going to believe somebody who's been to the Somali Mall and talked to the people. I'm not going to believe somebody who had a conversation with one of the Somali imams. I'm not going to believe him. What I need you to do is I need video information, video proof that they are releasing Somali Americans. They cannot hold. Listen to me, people. I know President Trump got y'all jazzed up to no end when he said that he was coming to Minnesota to get the Somalis, and it fired. That gave y'all a juice, a jolt in your arm, a jolt in your heart, a jolt in your blood, and y'all was jazzed up like no other. But what Trump did not realize, and Trump administration did not realize, because they didn't look into it, that over half of these Somalians here in Minnesota, they are Somalian Americans, and you cannot deport these people. That's why he decided to start after they got here. Right? True facts, people. After they got here and took a couple of these people and realized they had to let them go, what did they turn to start doing? They went after the Mexicans. How do I know that? If you've been following me, I played you a voicemail of a Mexican pastor who asked me to come in and help them deliver food to the Latinos who are afraid to go out of their house. I played you the voicemail of the Mexican pastor, Latino pastor, who asked me to help them go get donations and foods and things. I played that for you because the Trump administration realized at the last minute that they cannot touch these Somalis here in Minnesota. So they wasn't coming here and not leaving here with something, correct? I mean, that's a fact. They were leaving here with something. No, we can't get the Somalis like we promised you. We're sorry. What's the next best thing? All up and down Lake Street, you go to Home Depot, you go down to Lake Street, you go to the Target on Lake. They're all over that. And that's where they went. They went all the way out to Chet. Listen to me. If you're not from here, you're not going to understand what I'm saying. But for them to travel from Minneapolis all the way to Chanhassen to chase one Mexican up, he's working, building homes, 3 stories. They chased this man up in bitterly cold weather. I'm talking nasty cold weather. This is what they have reduced themselves to doing. They went all the way out to Chanhassen, found a Mexican out there, chased him up a 3-story building where he was literally on the roof. And they left there with nothing because the people showed up and chased ICE away. One man had frostbite that the EMTs came and got him. The other guy, they was passing him blankets and warm stuff and coffee and whatever keep him warm. And then when ICE left, they put him in a vehicle and they escorted him out of there. That happened right here in the state of Minnesota. So, see, Fairbanks, I don't have video for you. I don't. But this is what I can tell you because I know this. Where are you from, anyway? Jupiter, Florida. How in the hell you gonna know something in Jupiter, Florida? Please. 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 Don't do this. Don't do this. You're better. No, you're better than this. You're better than this. They may not have Somalis down there. Cuban Americans. So you're down in Florida. Here's my question to you, Miss C. Fairbanks. That right there. Here's my question to you, Miss C. Fairbanks. Here's my question. You telling me that in Florida, in the place that you're at, Cuban Americans, they can deport them? Because I'm going to look that up. I see, one of us do research. And I'm going to do research on Cuban Americans or any other immigrant that's in Florida. And I want to see if Florida is allowed to boot those people to the curb. To just grab them off the streets, put them on a plane, and zoom them out of here. Because I know for a fact here in Minnesota, I know this for a fact. And here in Minnesota, that you're not even in, they cannot take Somali Americans. They can't do it. That's why the Trump officials, that's why ICE had to pivot and go after Ukrainians, right? That's why they had to go after the Mexicans and the Latinos. And that's why they had to release, as I put in a tweet for you, 2 of the 5 Somalians that they grabbed. They had to let them go. Right now, they don't know. They're the other 3 that they have that they're holding. There's a chance they have to let them go also. So the net number of Somalians that's going to be leaving here, if ICE was to leave today, the net number of Somalians that, because he promised you, a lot of them was going to be leaving here. Got you all jazzed up. Right now, what I know, just what I know, if something changed, I'll find out for you and let you know. But if they ended all of this today and walked out of here, if what I'm being told right now, those other 3 that they held, if they have to let them go, they will leave here with 0 Somalians and a lot of Mexicans. And apparently now a bunch of Ukrainians. Because now that community, if he announced that today, that community right now is scrambling. I guarantee you. They're scrambling. So Miss CF, I'm not the one to play with. I'm not. You need video. Please, people. Really. Why don't you know what? If you need video proof from me, but you're going to believe anything Donald Trump and his administration tell you, why don't you ask them how many Somalians they got? Right? You could send a message to your president. You can send a message to your director of war, or whatever the hell you call him these days. You can do that. But you don't want to do that. You would rather come and ask me for proof because you know you're not going to get an answer from them. I get it. I'm cool with it. That's all right. See, it's just like the whole thing that's going on. Everybody's been all going nuts over this here Nick guy who came in here, and I went down to the child care center, the learning center without the N. And I read the piece of paper on the door. The piece of paper on the door was hours. And it clearly stated what the hours was of this place. But see, Nick knew y'all wasn't even going to question that. He knew y'all wasn't even going to want to care. You didn't care about it. He knew that. That's why he was able just to put it out there. But you notice he didn't read the paper on the door, right? He didn't read the hours. This is what I'm talking about, people. Y'all just let these people just say anything and y'all fall for. I don't, man. I don't. I spent, 3 days chasing ice? Showing you. All right, here I am. I'm doing it. I spent 2 days chasing the call for prayer when people kept swearing up and down that they was playing the call for prayer in Minneapolis, and I kept saying, I've never heard it the whole time I'm down there. Then, I had to chase around the CRT crap y'all put out there. So if you've been following me long enough, you know if you give me a challenge, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. But then the thing that gets me, I was looking back at some archives. The thing about my get up here, I was not taping all of my shows like I am now because I didn't know how to do it because I didn't spend time down here learning how to do it. Now I tape all of them. But I wish I can go back to some of the times when I was talking to Senator Roger Chamberlain. Please look him up. Listen to me when I say this. Senator Roger Chamberlain and we would talk all the time. And for those who don't know who Senator Roger Chamberlain is, he was the first Republican that was literally over the target. When I say this, people, I'm not joking. I used to talk to him all the time about the fraud because I wanted him to go into North Minneapolis. This is what I wanted him to do. And I asked him to do it, but he was busy on this other fraud. But I asked him to go into North Minneapolis and pull all of these nonprofits card. If y'all want to see, you talk about some fraud. Now, am I going to sit here and say that it's on the level of what these Somalis did? I'm not going to say that. But people don't realize how much taxpayers' dollars go into the black community. And we just had a kid, 17-year-old boy, shot and killed. Just a couple nights ago. Gun violence, as they call it. I call it violent people with guns. Because my gun has never been violent. Almost. It was close. I was really, really, really close. But it ain't never been violent. But Roger Chamberlain had this knocked down almost close in 2019, 2018. That's why I sit and I tell you, this stuff isn't new. None of this new. Nothing that Nick did. In 2014, they was doing investigations on a lot of these daycare. A lot of these daycares closed down in 2014, 2015. Look it up yourself. This is why I keep sitting here going, why can't y'all just research this stuff? Then when somebody like Nick come along, y'all sit back like me. I knew it. We talked about that. They already said that. But because you don't do research, because you expect for Fox News, Newsmax, Alpha News, all of these phony news outlets to tell you stuff, you don't get real news. You get what they give you, and then you walk around half blind. And then all of a sudden, somebody comes around and puts out a little video like Nick did. It's just like the fall of Minnesota, the fall of Minneapolis. That crap. That little non-documentary crap. We all knew what was in that. We all knew what was in that. We all knew. And then the minute I start pointing out certain things in that, Liz Collins get mad and blocks me. All because I questioned what I saw with my own eyes. I saw it with my own eyes. And I questioned her about it. And what did she do? She blocked me. This is a news journalist. This is somebody that you all depend on giving you straight facts, giving you the news. But when someone questioned one thing that I pointed out in her video, she blocks me. This is who you calling on to give you news? People who wasn't even there. She wasn't even at the place. She wasn't. I was there. I was standing right there watching it happen live. I know what I saw. My eyes did not lie to me what I saw. But then when I pointed that out, she blocks me. Y'all need to, like I said, man, this is why I keep telling people. I've made it clear to all these people who don't live inside of Minneapolis. And they always sitting there going, Rev, why is it important for me to know what goes on, what happens in Minneapolis? Look at what's going on now. That's your tax dollars. Are you not? But this is what I believe. I believe you don't care. I seriously believe that you don't care. You would rather wait for something to happen so you can have a reason to bitch about it. Because there's no one outside Minneapolis right now, I feel, got a right to even say one word. You ain't got a right to bitch about nothing. Because you spend most of your time saying you don't care about what happens to Minneapolis. You don't care what goes on to Minneapolis, as long as Minneapolis don't come out to you. That's exactly how you guys see it. And you know that as well as I do. So why are you bitching now? Why are you even having, why is what Nick put out there, why is that even important to you? Because last week you didn't care. Because if you cared about it last week, when they spoke about it on the news, when that dude, Bill, what's his name? Bill Grissom, whatever his name is, Bill, that Bill got on here. He's been talking about this stuff for months. I've been talking about this, but you didn't care. You didn't say one word. But all of a sudden, this video voyager right-wing propagandist come into Minneapolis and then go do what he did. And now, everything is completely blown up. Now the Republican legislators who are cowards, now they finally coming out talking about, look at us. They're punks. They're cowards. And y'all are not remotely saying anything to them. Where were they when the money was being wrote, when the checks was going out? Putting together a Republican committee, a fraud committee that had no power? Come on, people. We're better than, no. We are better than this. I don't care what you say. We are better than this. If you don't care about Minneapolis, then shut the hell up. Don't say nothing. Don't put nothing out there. But this is the reason why I tell you, every time I go outside of Minneapolis, when I was just up in St. Cloud, what did I tell them people in St. Cloud? Yeah, I know you guys consider yourself to be a big city. I get it. But what goes on in Minneapolis is important that y'all need to know. You need to understand what they're doing. You need to know what the city council is doing. You need to know what the mayor is doing. You need to know what all of them are doing. Hey, Crystal, if you think Minneapolis was good back in 06 through 011, nah. Even though we was going through Murderapolis, when all of them thug Negroes moved here from Chicago, that's what happened. You can get mad at me if you want to. I don't give a damn. What happened here in Minnesota, them thugs from Chicago start coming here in 96. Look, in 97, when we turned into Minneapolis. But when I got here in 1990, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, Crystal, boy, you talking about a good time. This is, look, in 91, 92, my wife and her friends can go downtown. All girls. True story, Crystal. All girls. They can go downtown and whoop it up and have a good time and enjoy themselves. Didn't scare me. Because basically the only thing that was down there at that time, there was a couple gangs. There was. But it wasn't, pimps, prostitutes. They are always going to be down there. There's a couple knuckleheads that would get in trouble and things. But what they wasn't doing is they wasn't jumping people coming out of the bar. If somebody drunk came out of the bar, Crystal, they wasn't jumping on people. She said, I was living by Powderhorn and would go along the board on the Greenway and never felt unsafe. But you're right. There was a lot of gang stuff going on. Right, Crystal? You know what I'm talking about, right? But, Crystal, and like I said, in the 90s, before the thugs from Chicago got here, you could go downtown and you could have a blast. You can. Like I said, my wife would go down there with 5 of her friends, women. I had no problem. There was nothing inside me thought that no, John said, let me know if I'm going too far. No, John, matter of fact, I was kind of reading a little bit what you were saying. And I know I agree with everything that you're saying, John. But in 96 is when we started seeing the change, Crystal. When all of them boneheads got here. Look up Murderapolis. I don't know how old you are, but look up the days of Murderapolis. I lived at 2729 North 3rd Street in North Minneapolis. I lived right behind the Fairview Park. If anybody have ever been in, I mean, literally in the heart. We bought our house there in 1996. That was the first house my wife and I owned. It was right there in North Minneapolis, right there in the heart of Murderapolis. In 97, I mean, the summer of 97 is when it all kicked off. And there wasn't a day that I went down Lindale, because I would come out of my house on 26, make a right on 26, make a left on Broadway. Make a left on Lindale, sorry. And 3 blocks later, I would be on Broadway. That's how close I was to all of this stuff that was going on. And my church buried a many of black men that year. And from that point on, my wife was not allowed to go downtown without me. Period, point blank. Matter of fact, there was a grocery store on Broadway, on Lindale and Broadway. If you ever been down there, I know a lot of you probably ain't never been down there, but there was a grocery store. My wife was not allowed to even go to that grocery store. When Paragon Cable, if y'all remember before they become Infinity and all of that, they used to be called Paragon Cable. They were on Plymouth Avenue in North Minneapolis. That my wife worked there. So my wife would just come up Lindale, go past Broadway, and she'd be at home. It took my wife literally 4 minutes to go with the stoplights to go from work to home. She wasn't allowed to stop anywhere after 97, 98. Because they were shooting anybody. It was ugly. It was ugly in the black community. Ugly. People was dying daily. Daily people being shot and killed. And even through all of that, you would think that we could come together as a people. Hell, we can't do nothing. You look at all of this here, fraud that these Somalis have committed. Now, I'm not gonna point the finger at a whole community. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna use a wide brush as I'm told a lot of times that I use. But I'm gonna say there was enough of these people to make a whole difference. All right. In the economics here in the state of Minnesota. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. But they tell us black folks that they ain't got no money. Democrats. We don't have no money for that. So they set aside $350,000 for black folks to fight over. We ain't got no programs. We ain't got no daycares. We don't have no store businesses. We don't have no buildings that we've bought. We don't have no malls. We don't have no insurance companies. We don't have no home loan companies. We don't own our own homes anywhere outside of Minneapolis. Our kids are not reading and becoming doctors, lawyers. They got their own police officers. Our kids are not becoming police officers. It's sad because these people just got here. And they have leapfrogged black folks here in the state of Minnesota. They have used themselves politically to get ahead, financially to get ahead. And if we was to be honest, they have cheated. If we was to be honest, to get ahead. But they got ahead. And look at where we at. We fighting each other for $350,000. We're fighting each other for that. They're almost up to $18 billion. That is phenomenal. How a group of people can come here. And here's the funny part that gets me about the right-wingers. The right-wingers sit there and go, well, their IQ is only 68. Have y'all seen that? You seen what the right-wingers are doing? Their IQ is only 68. How can a group of people whose IQ is only 68 pull this off? I go back to say what I was talking about earlier tonight. Think about what I just said. What they are saying. They have an IQ of 68. So you're saying they're not smart, correct? That's what that means. I just want to make sure that I'm on the same page as some of these Republican right-wing influencers, because that's who's saying this. You're saying that they're not smart. They're stupid. There's no way in the world. And you know what? You're right. But here's the thing that gets me about you guys asking that question. You don't go far enough to even want an answer to that question. Because if they're stupid, if they're that dumb that you say they are, let's go. No, I want to go a little. See, this is what I do. Like I said, when couples bring problems to me, I can't stop at the problem. I got to go a little further so we can get to the root of the problem. So therefore, we can fix or try to fix, right? So I can't do like y'all do. Y'all just stop. I got to keep going. So if they're too stupid, follow me now. If they're too stupid to be able to pull off this elaborate scheme, 18, what did John said? John said almost $18 billion. That's what John said. So if they're too stupid to do this, but yet, look at where $18 billion. But you said that their IQ is 68. And that's where you want to stop. That's what you said. So if they are too stupid to do this, who then who? You know who. That's why you stop at that question. That's why, because you know who did it. You know who helped them out. You know who put them up to it. You know who gave them the blueprint. You know. You know who drove them around. You know who took them to the welfare offices. You know. But see, here's the thing. It's just like the couple that comes in for my marriage counseling. When they first come, I know they don't want an answer. They don't. They don't. You know why they don't want an answer? Because he wants to be right and she wants to be right. That's how I know they don't want an answer. And half of you know it too because you're married. And a lot of times you don't want an answer and she don't want an answer. Why? Because you want to be right and she wants to be right. Again, like I always tell people sit there and go, holy smoke, I never thought of that. Look, I ain't smart. I ain't as smart as happy. I wish I would, like I told you, I met this dude, Professor Penn. I wish I was close as smart as this dude. Or my father, my stepfather. Oh my God. If I was as smart as even close to my stepfather, I could probably, that's why I look at my stepfather and be like, dude, you should be able to rule the world. It's not the point that's smart. It's I do a lot of research. I read a lot. Like I told y'all, I got 3 hours a day, 3 hours on certain days, and I do nothing but read. That's all I do. I've learned a lesson. If you read, if you educate yourself, you're going to see a lot of things different. But you call these people stupid. But yet, $18 billion is gone out of Minnesota. How did they do that? You know as well as I do how that was done. But see, in order for you to tell the truth, some of you got to look at yourself and say, people that look like me, not me, had something to do with this, correct? I mean, if I go by your logic, I'm going by the logic. I'm going by your logic. Your logic is these people are so stupid that there's no way in the world they could pull this off for so long. They can't be. They're IQ. That's what you said. That's what I'm reading on a lot of these Republican right-wing influencers' page, that they IQ is 68. They're stupid. They're dumb. So how in the world? That's what you asked. How in the world are they able to fool so many? How can they pull this off? How can this happen? Who gave them the tools to do what they did? Listen, people, let me make this as plain, as clear as I can for you. And I know this is one thing that a certain group of people in America hate to do, is to call out their own. They hate to sit there and say that they own did wrong. Listen, their own can go shoot up a school. Listen to what I'm saying. Their own can go shoot up a school, kill 20 kids under the age of 5, and they will still talk about black on black crime. If I'm wrong, say I'm wrong. Say, Rev, you're wrong. That church that they just killed, that those kids just got shot at. But we want to talk about black on black crime. What is it? What is it? 13? What do they call it? 1350. That's what you guys are doing now. You're 13% of the problem. 13. What is it? 50? You're 13% of the population, but you're 50% of the crime. But watch this here. Here in the state of Minnesota, they've caught more white men trying to have sex with children. And that's just not in Minnesota. That's all over, and y'all know that. But you don't want to talk about the pedophilia or the pedophiles. But you sure in the hell will bring up black on black crime. No, it's not what I know. It's what I sit back and no, seriously. And I'm not kidding. I needed to do a study on certain people when I left the Tea Party. When I left the Tea Party, I was so shook. And I'm not kidding when I say this. And this is why I started really diving into going, what is the mindset of white people? But when I left the Tea Party, I was so shook because I went there with the mindset of going, finally, got a group of people who really want to change America, who really want to make a difference in America. That's why I joined the Tea Party, because I thought this group of people was going to let the hate and all of this. I was like, they're going to let this go, man. Wow. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, man, they was like, we just can't do it. We are racist, and we sorry, Rev, we have to be who we are. That's why I left the Tea Party. There was no other reason for me to leave. But I left the Tea Party for that reason. And when I left, I was like, I've got to find out what are these people, what drives these people to just inside just hate black. A black man who stood with them and believed what they believed and saw the vision, but you still found a way to hate me. And I have never done. There isn't a white person in this world that could ever go to you and say that I've done something wrong, I've said something wrong, ever. Even in the worst part of my day. I told y'all, the first time I ever heard the word nigger, The first time, I never knew. I swear, as I sit here tonight, I never knew. Because I have never heard it. It was never said around me. It was never said in my. E. Jeter, Shelby County, Tennessee. That's the school that I was going to, elementary. We had this big merry-go-round. And the way this thing worked is everybody, certain sections, there was 4 sections that had these big bars, and you had to go like this here, right? Once you get it started. And so the merry-go-round slowed down, and then it stopped. Well, to really get it going, you have to get off. A group of people, they have to push it and jump on. It's a true story. I'll never forget it. I've told this story over and over and over. I will never forget this story. This little white boy says, all the niggers get off and push. I had no clue what he was talking about because literally, I had never heard that word. That word was never used in my house, ever. With my grandma and that's who raised me. My grandma and my grandpa. Ever. I get home, and I said to my grandpa, this boy told all the niggers to get off the merry-go-round and push. My grandfather said, well, what did you do? I said, I just sat there. I said, but Papa, all the black kids got off and started pushing the merry-go-round. My grandfather explained to me what a nigger was. And I thought that we would be past this. I'm 60 plus years old. And I thought, somewhere down, you start seeing things happen. Things start getting better. You think they're getting different. When I was born, I was born under segregation. The day I was born, my mom and dad could not go to the movies with white folks. The day I was born, my mom and dad couldn't stop when they brought me home from John Gaston Hospital and we went down 55 going towards Millington, Tennessee. My mom and dad could not stop at a gas station to take a piss in the white man's. When I was born, my mom and dad couldn't drink out of the same water fountain. When I was born, they couldn't go in the same bathrooms. I was born on the bottom level of John Gaston Hospital with all the other black babies. When I was born on Wednesdays is the time black folks could go to the zoo in Memphis. So by the time I hit my 60 plus, I would think the world would be changed. I would think that nigger word, I would think nobody would use it. But it got to the point where black folks felt if we use the word nigger, then nobody else can use it. So they start putting it in comedy. Richard Pryor, right? No, that's how far back I go. We used to sneak and listen to Richard Pryor. We wasn't allowed to listen to him, but we used to sneak my uncle's records and go listen to Richard Pryor call everybody nigger. And now they put it in music, and then they turn around and say, well, it's a term of endearment. Really? So let me make sure I understand this. So when you got a rap song that says, nigga, if you come over here, I'm going to pow, 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 and I'm going to bang, bang, bang. If you mess with me. So when I call you a nigga, but I also say I'm going to shoot and kill you, that's a term of endearment? See, that's how bad black folks is messed up. No. That's how bad black folks is messed up. We're going to take a word that was back in the day so hateful, and we're going to call each other that word, and we're going to swear up and down it's a term of endearment. But if I hate you, I'm going to call you a nigger and say I'm going to shoot and kill you. But nobody else can say it. Nigga, come here. Nigga, I'm going to shoot you. But nobody else can say the word. Now, I don't know if my boys say it or not, but they know growing up, they were never allowed to say it in this house. They didn't hear it wherever they learned it. They didn't learn it from this house. Because I don't believe in the word. I'll say Negro, because on my birth certificate, when it says race, it says Negro. No, that's what it doesn't say black. It doesn't say African American. I told y'all I was born during segregation. It says Negro. That's what they called us back then. And call us black people. And then it went from Negro, remember, to colored. We didn't get the black until Jesse Jackson. We didn't get the African American until Jesse Jackson. That's somewhat new. I've been through in my lifetime, I've been through the Negro, I've been through colored, I've been through black, I've been through African American, and I guess now, because black folks calling each other whatever they want, I'm back. I'm back to the nigger stage. My people brought us back to the very first time that I heard that word was from a white boy. All the way to my people now, literally using the word. And I told you about the time I was in Target. I don't go to Target anymore, but I was in Target. Right there in Crystal. I got white people in front of me, 2 black boys behind me. And every word that came out of their mouth was nigga this and nigga that and oh nigga you ain't this nigga, what we gonna do after this nigga this nigga. They had to be about 13, 14 years old. So all the white people are looking at me like, are you gonna say something? And I'm like, no, because these little niggas back here will jump on me. I ain't messing with them. That back then I didn't carry. Because I was like, they probably got something. The way they acting. So no, I ain't saying nothing to them. I'm good. I'm gonna get my little what I got, and then I'm up out of here. If what they're saying that makes you uncomfortable, y'all say something. But don't look at me to say nothing. These two 13, 14, 15 year old, these 13, 14, 15-year-old today, they'll put a cap in me. They have zero respect for their elders. Zero. But anyway, so when people was asking about, well, is the black community mad because Somali's got all this money? No. Let's say they decided here in Minnesota. Let's say they decided here in Minnesota to give John said, Rev, I can't say what I want to say on here. They would probably send you a block from YouTube. All right, John. Hey, I got to get off of this thing because I got to take my dog to daycare tomorrow. I got to get up. I got to go plug in. I got to get up in enough time to get him to daycare, or he's not gonna love me at all. But anyway, for those who did not know, who did not see, oh my God, oh man, oh man, that broke my heart. That just literally broke my heart. I just got this, people. I just got this. Oh man. I'll show you. I like I said, I got no reason. So that's my best friend Frankie. I gotta go. His father was like a father to me. We grew up on Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. This was his dad played. His dad was in it when it went into the. His dad went into the Navy. My dad was in the military, but we all grew up, like I said, on Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. But his dad, Ralph, was the biggest man I've ever seen in my life. He played lineman for the New York Jets. He was a lineman before he went into the Navy. He was a lineman for the New York Jets. Huge. I'm talking. I've never seen a man this big. But that's my best friend Frankie. I met when I met his sister first, and his sister was in 5th grade with me. That's how long Frankie and I have been friends. And I met his family and his mom, who became like a mother to me. And his father became a father to me, and he died tonight. Frankie and I have been friends for almost 40 years. And I've known his parents, his sisters, and his brother. Matter of fact, I used to date Keisha, which is his sister. But Ralph, his dad, was an awesome, awesome man. We knew he was going to pass. We knew, but, sometimes you just get it in your head that somebody was going to be here a lot longer. But I got to go, people. Y'all have a good night. And God bless. Listen, you got mom and dads. Y'all go hug them. Go be with them. Go call them. When we get off this phone, when we get off here, I need you to call. John, I've got to call my friend tonight. How about you and I? We'll chat tomorrow. I'll be open tomorrow. We may do a live because I'm going to have my grandson tomorrow also. But God bless each and every one of you. Go call your mom and dad right now and just, I love you, and get off the phone. Y'all have a good night. We'll see you later. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming and hanging out with me. Again, thank you so much. But y'all have a good night. Bye now.